And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're going to be taking a look at Galapagos, which is a game about the Galapagos Islands and the turtles that live on them. Actually, incidentally, this is not the only game with this title. So to differentiate, this is the Galapagos game from AMIGO Games. It came out last year, 2013 at Essen Fair. Now I was attracted to it because of the way the board looked. If you see here, you can see the back of the box. It has almost a Settlers of Catan looking board, and that was something I thought would be interesting. 8+, I thought maybe this would be one of those medium weight games that I like so very much. Let's take a look at how the game plays, and we'll be back. At the beginning of the game, you're going to build this grid here. And the grid, I wish that they had kind of made the frame so that it interlocks, because the grid's going to be the same no matter how many players are playing. I mean, each player is going to have 5 spots in front of them. You can flip it over if you have less than 4 players playing. So it fits together. It's not like you're going to be moving them that much. And you'll notice that each of the different hexes shows a different type of terrain and a different number. And what you'll be doing at the beginning of the game is you'll draw turtles from a bag. You'll draw these turtles. So I'm going to draw 6 turtles here, for example, and this one says 10. So I look for 10. 10 is a yellow. There it is right here. And then the next one says 16, and so that goes right up there. And the next one says 34, so that goes, it's black, so that goes there. The next one is 6, so that, or 9. Sorry, so that one goes there. Wow, they're all bunching together here. The next one says 25, and that is a white one. And wow, they're all together. And the last one is 23. Well, that one's kind of apart from the rest. Then players are going to randomly, once you have the turtles out, players are going to each randomly draw one, which shows where that player starts. So let's say the blue player drew the 2, so he starts here. The black player drew the 13. The red player drew the 19. And the white player drew the 36. So those are the different colors. These are then put back into the bag and the game begins. Now each turn of the game, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be rolling these 5 dice. Once you roll these 5 dice, everyone will be doing it simultaneously. The game is going to begin. You are going to place these dice in front of you using these dice, that was a white, using these dice to move on the board. So maybe I'll put a white here, then a white, then a blue, then another blue, and then I can't figure out a way to use my green one. Now what am I just doing there? Well, as soon as one person finishes, that person will flip the timer over, and everybody else will have that much time to finish theirs. Then, starting with the player who finished first, the person who turned the timer over, each person is going to move their guy. Now if you see here, I made a pattern here of white, white, blue, blue. So let's say I am the black pawn, and so I will follow that. So I say white, white, blue, blue. And when I moved through this white spot, there was a turtle, so I got it. Now, sometimes you're not able to move, and in which case, tough luck. If you notice, I had a green die, and I could not use it because there was no green next to that final blue. The game does have a rule that if you are on, let's say I was on this spot, you can go to either of the adjacent corners of the island. So I could use a green die to go here, or a blue die to go here. So that's one way to get around. And I heard that the company had an official variant in which you could get rid of any 3 dice to change one die to the color you want it, so that at least you could move somewhere. So all the players will move in turn order from the person who flipped the timer over, and then as each person finishes, or you do it clockwise, then you will replace the number of turtles to bring the number of turtles back up to, in this instance, it would be 6 for a 4-player game. So I'd bring enough turtles back out, and we would continue going till all the turtles are gone. At the end of the game, players are going to look at the turtles that they've gotten. There are many different colors of turtles. I believe there are 6 of them. And if you get a set of 6 different colored turtles, that's going to be worth 8 points. The rest of turtles are worth 1. Whoever has the most turtles is the winner. Now I actually like the concept of rolling dice and using those dice to move on the board. This is not a unique thing to this game. This has been done before from very in-depth games like the fantasy role-playing game Runebound. to smaller games like the little racing game Monza for kids from Haba. So this isn't a new concept. In fact, there's really nothing new about this game at all. It has a modular board. Well, we've seen modular boards before. It has collecting different items for points, and a set will get you more points. Well, we've seen that. And it has using dice to program your movement. Well, we've seen that. So when we put all this together, does the game give you an experience that's different? And unfortunately, the answer probably is no. I'm not saying I dislike this game. I just found that this game was merely okay. One of the big flaws of this game is it's very possible for you to multiple turns in a row roll dice which are completely worthless. Now, I wish there was some sort of re-roll function. In fact, I would love to try a game like this where you could re-roll as many times as you want, but the people who are re-rolling will have a chance to grab the timer later than other people and therefore maybe go after them. That would be a very interesting game, and I was surprised they didn't even include it even as a variant. Because if you're just going to roll dice, why not just draw 6 cards and put those cards in order? The components are very high quality. I especially liked how when you drew the tile from the bag and turned the turtle over, not only did it tell you what number, but it told you what color it went on. So it was very easy to put those out because the color of the turtle didn't necessarily match the color of the terrain it was put on. It's simple. It's easy. The game advertises here 30 minutes. That's definitely true. There's a variant with 2 players where you can win if you get 5 turtles of one color. So, I mean, there's obviously strategies that sometimes you just want to move a few spots and grab a turtle and go first, then move farther, maybe grab 2 or 3 turtles. So, an interesting game, intriguing game, a game that looks pretty, a game that you could probably have fun with. I just think the fun fizzles out fairly quickly because it just feels kind of samey. Despite the modular board, it's just going to be basically you're at the whim of your dice. And while I like dice, I felt like there was no way to fudge the dice, to move them, and to do anything with them. You rolled and hoped you got lucky. And in that regard, I think it kind of fails a little bit. So a really cool looking game. One I think a few people would like, but ultimately I think this game is forgettable.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!